Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Chinmayam Gyapyat Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Atpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vedya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Jai Guru. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So I think we are still in chapter 5. Is that correct?
Yes, chapter 5, number 12.
Chapter 5, verse 12. You need reading glasses?
I got mine today.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantimapnoti nashtikim ayukta kamakarena phale sakto nibadhyate. The united one, or the well-poised and the harmonized, having abandoned the fruit of action, attains eternal peace. The non-united, or the unsteady or the unbalanced, impelled by desire and attached to the fruit, is bound.
Yes. So the reference here is to the whole phenomena of how our bondage takes place. So first, what happens is the non-apprehension of our essential nature. In the mind, I do not know I am Krishna, I am Brahma. Instead, the mind projects this chit chaya, this shadow self, this chit abhasa, this reflected self, this jiva bhavana, this feeling that I'm a person. And it manifests as I think I'm the body, or the body plus the personality. Simultaneously with that, the mind projects that the world of name and form is separate from me, separate from consciousness. And that feeling of jiva bhavana always is incomplete. I have the feeling of spiritual impoverishment. I'm not enough. There's not enough. Does this sound familiar? And then the third element that gets projected is struggle. I'll be happy when, it'll be better if, or better different. Happiness is not here now, happiness is there then. That whole phenomena is samsara, it is dukkha, suffering, karma, chakra, the wheel of action. It is my misery. Now, how does it come about? When I engage in the world, and there's a joy-giving or a misery-producing event, and I ruminate over it, I think, oh, that was so fantastic, I want to do it again. Or the opposite, well, that was terrible, I have PTSD now. But it happens after the fact, and I keep thinking about it and dwelling. It's like the silkworm spinning a thread. Now, one little vasana is no big deal. You do a little bit tapas, you break it. But most of us don't. And that one thread is there. And then there's another egoistic action and another thread. And then another. And over lifetimes, millions and millions of these vasanas. Just like the silkworm becomes cocoon by a cocoon of silk, so you and I become cocooned by the incrustation of vasana, which then becomes the cause of our spiritual ignorance. Vicious cycle, vicious cycle. So what the yogi wants to do is understand this whole phenomena, the technology of the production of misery. So what am I going to do about it? So in these chapters 3, 4, and 5, Krishna is giving us techniques to act in the world in a way where we exhaust vasana without creating new ones. I keep drilling these 5 elements in because they're so important. We do not gain freedom by running away from activity. There's no freedom in that. Oh, I don't want to go there. It's too gross. It bothers my mind. Or I can't go to this event because, oh, it bothers my mind. Or, oh, I can't go into the city. It's too noisy. That's not freedom. So we act. How? Ride the horse in the direction it's going, according to your prakriti, according to your nature, according to your swadharma. However you're hardwired, you do not need to change it. But whatever our activity is, we change the attitude toward it. We do it in the yajna spirit. We serve the society. You have a new employer. Your employer is Krishna. You have new customers. Your customers are Krishna. You have new friends. Your friends are Krishna. Let me give you an example. So I was talking with a fellow this past week. He comes from a dysfunctional family. And when he's there with his family, a lot of them are addicts and alcoholics. They're all happy and laughing and being witty and charming. And he's basically an introvert. And he can't and won't compete. But he leaves thinking that he's terrible, he'll never be liked, social anxiety. I think I'll just slash my wrists. And literally, he feels suicidal. So, what's the antidote? Well, let's take that third element. So, I suggested to him, well, first of all, you don't have to go. You don't owe him a thing. But if you feel you have a family obligation, quit trying to get something from them. They're incapable of giving you the love and the support that you need and want. One of the definitions of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So if you're going to go to one of these family events, how can you not get engaged in that? How am I doing? What do they think of me? Am I okay? It's the most painful position of the mind. I said to him, well, why don't you try being of service? Pick up the dirty glasses, take them to the kitchen, take out the trash. Go to the kitchen, start doing the dishes. If you can, find a family member and just listen. Be of service. Seva. It totally changes. But as long as we go into these environs with the idea it's all about me and what do they think of me, and I'm not getting my needs met, and I, me, mine, I, me, mine. This is not evil or bad. It's just effing painful. That's the reason to try to get out of it, to heal from it. And what the tradition says in the yajna spirit, service, service, service. Now, we don't do service to try to fix other people. We don't do service to get them to like us. We don't do service to control situations. We do service with no attachment to the karma phalam. In Hindi, you say karma phalam. Sanskrit, you say karma phalam. Fruits of action. All we get in life is the action. Results we leave to God. So again, you go to a family event and you do seva and nobody notices or cares. Well, probably not. If they weren't so damn narcissistic and self-centered, you wouldn't feel so bad anyway. Don't expect them to acknowledge it. Do service, contribute to the society, letting go of our attachment to the fruits of action. What this does, you end up in an event based on the force of the past, impelled by our prakriti, impelled by our vasanas. But if we don't get all caught up in the outcome, then we exhaust the vasana without creating new ones. So it's all about the science of vasana purgation. So you're assigned a big project, let's say at work. You spend months and months and months putting the whole thing together, a team and all that sort of stuff. And then upper management cancels the project. You ever had that happen?
Yeah.
What do?
Let it go, I guess.
What else can you do? But if you go, those horrible people, how could they do this to me? I put so much time into this project, it's about me. Then the next time you're assigned a project, you've got all that garbage in your psyche. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So let it go. Let it go. Not easy, simple to say, but not easy. So this is the fourth element, this renunciation of our attachment to the fruits of action over and over and over again. Any thoughts on this? What do we do if others are attached to the fruits of action around us? You're not respecting me. You're not giving me what I need and want. Don't get engaged. What other people think about me is none of my business. The challenge is not to get defensive, not to justify, not to defend, not to explain. Let it pass through. No attachment to the fruit, outcome of our activity. Well, don't I have a right to be angry if someone disrespects me? It's funny. As we go through scriptures, almost never do I hear the scriptures talk about rights. Talk a lot about duty. You can do anything you want in yoga. But what we're talking about is what's working. Sure. You want to be angry, knock yourself out. But then don't complain if you get the reactions to your anger. Very important point. Act according to your nature, your prakriti. But do it in the seva attitude, the spirit of yajna, selfless service, renouncing our attachment to the fruits, which is what this verse was talking about. The karma phalam, karma phalam. Any thoughts? I know this is repetitive, but if we got it on the first time around, we wouldn't need to keep coming back to Gita. Next verse.
Sarva karmani manasa samnyasyaste sukham vashi navdvare pure dehi neva kurvanna karayan. Mentally renouncing all actions and fully self-controlled, the embodied one rests happily in the nine-gate city, neither acting nor causing others, body and senses, to act.
So what do we mean by the nine gates? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a metaphor for the body. So you want to see that the body is not you. Let it move through the world, acting according to the qualities of mind and the force of the past. And you and I ever maintain the viewpoint of Sakshi, the witness. Asangoham, I am unattached to the body, mind, intellect, the bodies, the equipment. Endeavoring to keep this samadrishta, this equality of mind. There's a term we get in Yoga Vasishtha that I love, Shitala. Is there a similar Hindi word?
Sheetal means the same in Sanskrit.
Cool?
Cool, yeah.
Yeah. Keep your mind cool, Shitala. Don't get caught up in drama. And practical. So how many people, for example, right now are you managing?
35.
35. I suspect 60, 70% of your time is spent dealing with one or two people.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
No.
And why? What is it about those one or two people?
They either struggle with learning or struggle with changing their attitudes.
Yeah. And I suspect there are others that are shitala. There's just no drama. They get the job done. If they fall short on something, they take responsibility. They ask for help. Do you have a few like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're no problem. So these are practical suggestions. You ever had a subordinate that you're a terrible boss, you're doing it all wrong? You ever had one of those?
Yes. Now I do.
Yeah. And if you take it personally,
Oh, you cannot. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just not healthy.
yeah, say that again.
It's not healthy.
Yes. That's called being detached from the fruits of action, my dear. You're internalizing the teaching. This teaching makes you master of this world and the beyond. So for Deepa, here, practically speaking, these lessons in karma yoga help to make you an efficient manager and a very high-powered job. This making sense?
Yeah, it makes me effective.
Say that again.
It makes me effective.
Yes. Yes. Are you all hearing that out in Zoom land?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, if you were to have done a project and then they cancel it and you got all emotional, I worked so hard. I put in 6 months on this project. Don't you know how hard I worked for this? And you probably have colleagues who may do that sort of stuff, do you?
Yeah, folks get attached to the work they've created.
And then what happens?
Then we have to coach them to see that that's what was needed in that moment in time. The present moment in time needs something else.
Yeah.
And being stuck to the old snapshot is not working.
So you've, in modern corporate speak, quoted Gita.
Yeah,
Do you see that?
I guess.
Yeah,
Yes.
what you said is you can't be attached to the fruits of action.
Or the past. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Same principle. Same principle. Have you found this, Atik, in your work life?
Yeah, somewhat. People do get attached to it. People do get upset when projects are canceled, though. Yes,
But it doesn't change what is. If the project's canceled, it's canceled.
correct. Yes. We just have to go roll with it.
Yes. And if you're emotionally attached, you're not effective. You're in the past, not in the now.
Correct.
How about you, Ashley? Have you come up against this sort of thing where you work?
Yes, I was just thinking though, if I'm on a project and it gets canceled, I'm excited about it because it's less work that I have to do.
But the idea here is we do our best, we strive for excellence, but the results belong to Krishna.
Mm.
And everything has its karmic chains. If desire and hard work were the only elements for getting what we want, everybody get what they want. And that's just not what's so. One person works very hard and things fall apart. I have a very dear friend, he's quite spiritual. And he's in real estate. He got heavily leveraged in 2008. The whole thing blew up. He ended up having to declare a bankruptcy.
Mm.
And another person buys a lotto ticket and comes out with hundreds of millions of dollars for buying a lotto ticket. Karma. Krishna is the karma phala data, the giver of the fruits of action. Doesn't mean he's up there in the sky saying, oh, I like Deepa, the way she's partner here today. Blessings. Atik, don't like it. There's no God who does that. What it is the incredibly complicated force of our past as it interacts with the society. So, practice equality of vision, samadrishta. Practice standing back and being the witness, sakshi bhava. Practice karma phala sannyasa, renunciation of the fruits of action. Next verse.
न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभु न कर्म फल संयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते. Neither agency nor actions does the Lord create for the world, nor union with the fruits of actions, but it is nature that acts.
Yes. So now again, we're drilling down on the fifth element, which is our renunciation of the sense of agency. So, in the subtle intellect, the technical term is the vijnana maya kosha, the intellectual sheath. There is a function called karta. Karta simply means doer. We all experience, I went to the symphony this afternoon. You did not. You telling me you took a nap today?
Mhm.
Yeah, you took a nap today. Each one of us did different things. We had desires, we had made choices, and we acted on them. There's no escaping that. But the question is, why did I desire it? And did I freely choose it? In the West, we just glorify this notion of free will. And in yoga, what we say is, of course, we experience making choices. But is it really free? Now, I don't know what things are like in Alabama or up in the Pacific Northwest where you are, Atik, but I've been noticing a lot of the young men in their like 20s and 30s. They've got these new kind of hairstyles. First of all, they all got dangly earrings. Then they shave their heads really close on the side. And then it looks like some raccoon died on top of their head with a tail in the back. You seen those haircuts? Yes?
Yes.
Do they have those in Alabama? And where are you? Portland, Atik?
Yeah, Portland. Yeah, something like that. Yes.
Yeah. Now, are those free choices? This is style, man. People are styling. Of course not. It's fashion. Or what's the other haircut for the really young guys, the guys in their 20s? Someone called them broccoli haircuts. It's like a stalk of broccoli on the top, so it's short on the side, and they go, lots of curls. No judgment. But this is not freedom. This is influenced by the environment. But I think I go to the barbershop and say, do my hair this way. Now I have a confession to make. In the 1970s, I had big hair and a mustache, platform shoes, velvet bell bottoms with a big cuff, and jackets with no lapels. And I wore a big locket thing on a chain. What are you laughing at?
You should bring it out sometime.
I have
At
no
least
pictures.
the
No.
locket.
But it's funny now. But if you watch an old movie of the styles of the 70s, was not the high taste of those days. That's what that was styling in the 70s. It's hot stuff. Do we choose this? One of the things I see today, I see young women, mostly in their 20s, maybe early 30s, and they wear these shoes that look like boots. They're usually black and they look like they're really heavy. They're almost like platform tennis shoes or whatever. I can't really tell what they are. Have you seen those?
Platform shoes? Yeah.
Well, they're normally you'd think of if a woman is wearing a nice dress, she would wear like pumps or heels or a slipper. But there's like these, like she's wearing combat boots.
Oh yeah, that's a style too.
What'd you call it?
It's a style.
The style. Are they choosing it? Well, yes and no. So all of our taste, the things that we like. So, Deepa, you have a murti in your house, if I remember, a beautiful Shivanataraj.
Yeah.
You do not have a statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary, though. Do you?
No.
No icon of Jesus?
No.
Do you have a prayer rug where you can face Makkah in the east?
No.
Why not?
Upbringing.
Culture, karma. We think we choose, but what this verse is saying, it's all prakriti. Prakriti means nature. And the word prakriti has the same dual meaning in Sanskrit as the word nature does in English. So I can say, oh, I'm going to go up to Muir Woods and walk through the redwoods because I so enjoy nature. Or you can say, oh, Jim told another really awful dad joke. Well, that's just his nature.
Mm-hmm.
Has that dual meaning. So is Prakriti. So it is the agent. It is the force of the past, the qualities of our mind, as it interfaces with the larger karmic environment. So for, say, the past 30, 40 days, the stock market's been a roller coaster. Have any of you been buying or selling stocks or worried about it and stuff like that? Yes, no?
Worried about it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's nothing you personally did. That's our national karma. It's not always just about me individually. I live in a karmic soup of other people. We have political environments, we have wars, we have economics. Ashley was talking about how there's been a weather change. The wet weather seems to be lasting longer. You know, the effects of global warming are a worldwide karmic situation, not just you and me individually. So that's what the agent is. The agent is guna, qualities of mind. If you're depressed, you're going to behave differently than if you're rajasic and you're full of energy, or if you're sattvic, your mind is clear and you're at peace. And how that's going to express the texture of all that is the force of the past. Now, understanding this gets rid of two big mental health problems. Many of us have had some really terrible experiences in the past. Some of it, we were completely a victim. You know, if you had an abusive childhood from your family of origin. But sometimes it's also, I made some really bad choices. I may have married a person that really wasn't good for me. I may have gotten involved in a work situation that was abusive. I may have gone to this school instead of that school, which I really shouldn't have, or worked for this company instead of that company. The egoistic person looks back with regret. What I call shoulda, woulda, coulda. And a lot of it's I should have done, yada, yada, yada. Who's had thoughts like that? Don't should on yourself. If you understand that it was Buddha and karma, we could have done no other. We did what we did. The qualities of mind, the force of the past that we had. And because there is the myth of this freedom of choice, we can let go of regret. If you look at the past from the paradigm of free will, well, you could have said no. You could have married somebody else. You could have not taken that job. But the yogi understands, no, it could not have been any different. Prarabdha karma, the karma of this lifetime, the karma of this body. And that way we don't regret the past. We don't need to shut the door on it, but we don't need to dwell in it. Then we look to the future, shopping around your resume. Should I take this job? Should I take that job? You're dating someone. Oh, should I get involved with this person or should I not get involved with this person? The yogi understands you're going to do what you're going to do. In a sense, it's all been written. Prarabdha karma. Prakriti, the force of nature. Or as Krishna said earlier, every being is impelled into action helplessly by the force of Prakriti, the force of nature. What can restrain do? Going to do. And don't worry about it. So what we want to do is not go through life with the brakes on. I'm afraid I'm going to make a mistake. I'm afraid I'm going to make a mistake. No! Jump, dive in. And if the karma is crash and burn, it was going to crash and burn anyway. Don't worry about it. Pick yourself up and move on. But if we get involved with regret for the past and worry about the future, that creates vasana. Now, here is a very interesting point. Usually when we talk about attachment, we think of we're attached to the things that we like or love, may not be good for us. I'm attached to chocolate. Oh, I'm attached to bad boys. I'm attached to making money. I'm attached to gambling. Actually, we can also be attached to our suffering. If I'm identified as nobody knows how bad it is for me, I'm worse than anybody, I'm unlovable, I'm broken, I'm damaged goods. I've actually worked with people who've been told by a partner, you have to stay in this relationship because you're damaged goods. No one else will accept you. What a horrible thing to say to someone. But we internalize these messages, and then we become attached to the misery. And then the mind dwells in victimhood, self-pity, running tapes of self-abuse. Has anybody ever had periods in their life where they do that? That is an attachment. Doesn't feel like it when we're in it. It feels like, oh, this is real. I really am this terrible, awful person, and I have it so bad, and I'm so, I mean mine. We're back there again. And what we have to identify is it's still an attachment to a form of self. You can be attached to the form of self. I'm really powerful. I'm effective. I'm successful. But you can also be attached to I'm a piece of shit. I'm unlovable. I'm broken. I'm just fill in the blank. And the first step to freedom is to see that whole internal conversation is a lie. What you are is woman. What you are is the space of pure awareness. Listen carefully. We don't go from thinking I'm the worst thing in the world to I'm an okay person. I'm just damaged and broken, but I'm okay. We don't try to fix the ego necessarily. The insight comes when we see its fundamental unreality and we quit running the habitual tapes. Now, we don't have a lot of control over the first idea that arises. No blame. But if we continue down the psychological rabbit hole, that's something we're doing to ourselves. What a yogi wants to really work on is if you can stop it at the first thought. There is no personal sense of self. Turn the mind not to, I'm really okay, I'm a good person, etc. That's simply trying to protect and bolster ego. See if we can stop the whole process. My thoughts are not real. No personal sense of self. This is not easy. This is not easy to do. But we give up trying to protect, bolster, defend ego, or reify how terrible I am as a person or how good I am as a person. You want to begin to let go of both. Now, what's interesting is when we begin this practice, the mind, the ego sense, doesn't want to go there. It wants to stay in whatever particular sense of identity it's most identified and attached with. It will resist it. One of my favorite stories, absolutely true. I was at a camp with Swamiji, couldn't tell you where it was or when it was. In the evenings, he usually did a chapter of Gita. In the morning, he did an Upanishad class. And we were sitting on the floor, cross-legged, little piece of rug, an asana it's called. There was a woman in front of me. And it wasn't that early, you know, it was like 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And he starts talking about the unreality of the individuality. And this poor woman, she literally toppled over sound asleep. I'm not making this up. She had such resistance to the knowledge. She literally couldn't hear it. And I can't tell you what will happen. I'll have a class full of people who will be going through a scripture to a certain point, and then we're going to be covering some verses that just slam at the personal sense of self, reveal its unreality, its vanity, its nothingness. And oh, Jim, I have to skip class tonight. Oh, I'm doing my nails tonight, Jim. I have laundry tonight. Oh, all of a sudden I'm not feeling well, Jim. Yeah, excuse after excuse after excuse. It makes me laugh. And then they're fine the next day. But there's this enormous resistance to hearing this truth. The ego is devastated by it. It's everything we've held on to, who we think we are, gets ripped away.
Jim, I have a question.
Please.
So you said, okay, if I say I am okay, and that also is kind of the ego. And of course, if I say I'm terrible, that's the ego. And
Yes.
do we just sit with what is coming up and observe it? Is that the continued lesson here?
No, what you do is you say, to whom did these thoughts or feelings occur? To me. Koham, who am I? What is my essential nature?
Okay.
Turn the mind back on its source. Who are you? What are you?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yes. So rather than being like, oh, I'm all right, it's all gonna be okay, or
who is it who thinks he's all right? That's the ego.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Is that useful?
Yes, I will do my best to remember that and practice.
So again, I've given a couple people the suggestion that they get their claws deeply into Shankara's Vivekachudamani. Swamiji used to say you really only need two texts, Bhagavad Gita and Vivekachudamani. But it goes so deeply into this practice of discrimination between the self and the not self. And if we go slowly through it, read Swamiji's commentary, take 1, 2, 3 verses per day, no more, and endeavor to practice that throughout the day. Oh, I got the book, but I haven't looked at it yet. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that one. I'll give people the book. Did you look at it? Oh, I'm actually kind of looking more into becoming a vegan. Knock yourself out. That will not free you from your misery.
Thank you, Jim. That's very, very helpful.
So this is a secret about the nature of attachment. We can be attached, of course, to the things that give us great joy. But some of us live in the past. We review our misery on a regular basis. Go over the wrongs that have been done to us, or the wrongs we've done to others. That's for people who've got a lot of regret. In AA, I see this. Someone who's a drunken mom or a drunken dad. Just heard a nightmare story last night. There was this gal, and she got sober, and she asked her tween son what he liked best about her quitting drinking. And he says, "You don't beat me anymore." She had no idea she physically abused her son in blackouts.
Wow.
How do you let go of that? But if you want peace, now you make the amend. You be there for your child. But if she were to spend the rest of her life regretting being a drunken mom, there's no freedom in that. And it doesn't help the kid. It doesn't help anybody. All right, next verse.
न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभु न कर्म फल संयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just reread the last verse.
Pardon me?
I read the last verse again. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's important. Glad you did.
नारत्येकस्यचित् पापं न चैव सुकृतं विभु अज्ञानेनावृतं ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः. The Lord takes neither the demerit nor even the merit of any. Knowledge is enveloped by ignorance. Thereby beings are deluded.
So the Lord here, Krishna talks about it, it means myself. So good and bad actions are performed by the body. Judgments of favorable and unfavorable things, enjoyable suffering is done in the mind. The judgments in the intellect, righteous, unrighteous, successful, failure, happen to the intellect. The self, my real nature, who I am, I do nothing. So what we are endeavoring to do is practice dropping this chintya, this after the fact rumination over events. First of all, you have to see it. And then develop the skill to not go there. So Friday we had a potluck party. I made mushroom tikka masala. I nailed it, man. My mind's having chinta. After the fact rumination. It's all gone at the end of the party. Piece of me that's thinking, I'm gonna call some people up and how did you like the tikka masala?
Mhm.
But I'm a yogi. Jao. What's jao mean in Hindi?
Go away.
Yeah. Jai, jao. When thoughts like that arise, jao. Get out. And the opposite. Oh, so and so said they were going to come to the party and they didn't come. Jao. Get out. Oh, what I said was so inappropriate. Why did I do that? Jao. Get out. It is a practice to not get caught up in that stuff. Now, once the mind is clear, we're no longer in a reactive space, you may want to say, is there something to learn? So you're in a meeting and you're not communicating successfully around a project. You ever had that experience?
Yeah.
People are just not getting what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So you can stand back and go, I wonder if there was a clearer way to say that or communicate that. Have you ever done that kind of stuff?
No. I feel very compelled in the moment to solve the problem of communication myself.
Okay, well, either way, but the point is there's nothing wrong with that. But if you start attacking yourself around it, or you leave the meeting, oh, I'm so terrible. I, me, mine. Be wary of the I, me, mine stuff. Is that making sense?
Yeah, I actually say that. Did what I just said make sense? And then people tend to ask questions. But yeah.
That's perfectly legitimate. That's not the same as the chintya.
Yeah.
That's being solution oriented. There's a difference. It's subtle, but inside it's huge.
Mm.
If it's about me, my performance, what do they think of me? How am I doing? Am I okay? That's what you want to avoid. And when those thoughts arise, because this is a practice we're doing, you don't just decide at once. Jao, get out. Tell the thought to get out. And then stay in the now. Stay in the solution. Be solution oriented. Any thoughts on this? Again, this is incredibly practical. If you've got a subordinate who's hypersensitive and you need to make a correction on their work and they personalize it, what happens?
They try controlling things in weird ways. They get set reactive. we miss the point of the task. And then we
Yeah.
spend cycles in figuring emotions out.
Yeah, yeah. And it just makes everything more difficult. And then I'm sure there are other people that you manage and you need to correct. No, you did it this way. I think it would work better if you did it that way. Oh, okay. Do you have employees like that?
Yeah, yeah.
No drama. It makes life so much easier for everybody. I have a fellow I'm working with who's a nurse in the emergency room. There is no time to process your feelings. People's lives are at stake. And if the charge nurse says, no, stop that, do this, you messed up, salute and execute. Because people's lives are at stake. This guy's a very sensitive fellow. And part of it is what makes him a good nurse, because he's really good with patients. But it's a challenge not to get caught up when a superior corrects him. They're correcting his work. They're not correcting him. As a professional musician, one of the hardest things to do was to correct a singer, especially, because the voice and the body are linked. And for people who are body identified, they think it's about them. I'm thinking of this one soprano. She had a gorgeous voice, but not a secure musician. And she was singing this particular song, and she kept coming in at the wrong place. And, you know, when I would stop her and say, no, you're coming in a beat late, she got so defensive because she made it about herself. We all make mistakes. You fix it. It's a basic principle of life. Stand back. Stay identified with the Chid Akash, the space of pure awareness. And when the I, me, mine thoughts arise, oh, I'm really doing well, yada, 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 or I'm such a piece of poop. Jao, get out. Keep your mind focused on what's right in front of you. Swamiji used to thunder, put your mind where your hands are working. The task in front of you. And understand that after the fact, worry, rumination, regret over past events creates that thread of silk, and it contributes to my future suffering. We don't see the link. Incredibly important stuff tonight. Okay, we have about a minute left. Any thoughts or questions before we end? All right. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.